for social studies today, make sure that you are logged on to TCI and then you go to your assignments, and this is where it's going to pop up, and then you need to hit the plus sign. Once you do that, you'll go to section 8, and we're going to be continuing to talk about geography and how it affects where people live. I'm going to read through the section with you and show you how to begin going through your notes. North America has many different physical features, climates, and vegetation zones. These geographic features often affect where people choose to live and how they live at that place. Physical features influence where people live. For example, because it is easier to build houses and buildings on flat lowlands, people are more likely to live in lowlands. Places like mountains can be hard to build on, so many people might not live in an area with mountain ranges. People are also more likely to live near bodies of water, like oceans, gulfs, or lakes. Many people depend on the water for food or to trade with other people, so over 1/3 of people in the United States live near the coast. Just in that section, I'm going to scroll down to our notes, and it's going to ask us today to give one example of how each part of geography affects how people live. So as far as physical features, that's what we just read through. So going through physical features influence where people live. So the example I'm going to use is since it's easier to build houses on flat lowlands, people are more likely to live in lowlands. And all you do is you type in here So I wrote, physical features affect where people live. Lowlands are easier to build on, so more people live in lowlands. The next section we're going to read is climate, and this is just going to save as we go through. Climate also affects where people live. Many people prefer to live in areas with some rain and warm temperatures. These areas are often good for growing crops, so people often can produce enough food in those areas to eat. So people are looking for places with some rain and warm temperatures. So I wrote that climate affects where people live. People prefer more temperatures with rain so they can grow crops. And then our last section is going to be on vegetation. Vegetation also affects where people live. Many people prefer to live near vegetation that they can use in their daily lives. For example, vegetation might be important to some people because it provides them with food. If there are few plants in an area, less people might live there because there wouldn't be enough food for everyone to eat. Other types of vegetation also affect where people live. Many people might choose to live near forests. Forests provide people with materials they need to create buildings and homes for themselves. If they cannot get what they need from the plants around them, they might choose to live someplace else. Alright, so vegetation also affects where people live. People might prefer forests so they have trees to build houses. And then you'll have a button that says hit submit, but wait to do that until you read the last section. Sometimes the geography of a place can change quickly. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina brought very strong winds to the city of New Orleans, Louisiana. The storm caused massive amounts of damage to the city and changed the environment. Structures that protected New Orleans from water were destroyed during the hurricane and caused many parts of the city to flood. Buildings and homes were destroyed as a result. The geography was changed because of the storm as well. Some of the land around the city washed away, causing the Gulf of Mexico shoreline to grow closer to the city. People who had lived in this area would not be able to rebuild their homes. Over 100,000 people left to find a new place to live because of this event. So geography affected these people's lives so much that so many of them just chose to find a new place to live because it's easier than trying to clean up everything that happened. Alright, so then you can do this on your own. It says drag and drop the true statements about how geographical features affect where people choose to live in. People do not want to live near bodies of water. People typically live in mountain ranges. And we saw down here that people choose to live in lowlands, so where it's flat. So I know that's not true. People often choose not to live in climates with extreme weather. So it'd be a lot of places like Wisconsin. If it's really, really cold, some people choose not to live there. So I know that is true. People tend to live near vegetation. That's another one that we read up here. And then last one, people often choose to live near forests. That's one that we also wrote in our notes. So I know these ones, and I want to check my answers. And we got those all correct. So once you've got that all done, you can hit submit, and you are done and set for the day.